I mentioned to you when we met that I'm, normally year on year I can project myself to the year ahead, right? I can always see myself, if it's January, then I would tell myself, okay, Shirley, by December, these are the things that you would have achieved. But this year, I felt that there was something missing. I couldn't project myself to December 2018. I couldn't see myself in January 2019. I just couldn't visualize myself. So something was off. I didn't know what it was. And then on paper, this year I got everything that I was working so hard for. The recognition, the promotion. So on paper, everything seemed like it was going really well. And I don't know, Ariana Huffington, I mentioned her to you. So she has a book called Thrive, The Third Metric. So she said that people typically define success as money and power, which is really how I've defined it. It's always been about climbing the corporate ladder, having the luxury of choices. That was what I was working for, and I had it for the past 12 years. But Ariana Huffington put it really eloquently. She said the third metric is what we should all focus on, and it's 4 pillars. It's wisdom, it's well-being, it's wonder, and it's giving back. And these were the 4 things. When I read it, I thought, gosh, she put it down in words. This feeling that I felt, that there was something that I was meant to do that I just hadn't done yet. And so my life was not balanced at all. I was working very hard. So my well-being was not where it should have been. It was always work. I gave my heart and soul to the company. So I wanted to take that back, that part of my life back. So that's the well-being part. The wisdom was more on just being in the present, being in the moment. Mm-hmm. I've always been, what's next, done, right. What's next, right? The wonder is just, what life has to offer you.
Do you still feel excited going to work?
I was always driven. I'm not sure if it's excitement, but I was driven. Mm-hmm. I think I'm a naturally driven person. Give me anything, yep. And I would just give it my all. I'll make it work.
Right. So it's not the work environment?
It's not. Right. It's not I think, because when I resigned, everyone asked me that, right? Is it the work environment? Is something else that we can offer you? Is it a different role? Mm-hmm. And I said, no, it's just where I am in life at this point. This is not where I want to be. Even if you gave me the best work environment, I would probably still resign. It's just not what I want.
I mean,
right
this
now.
is as good as it gets in Brunei?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I know there are many people trying to get into Shell, and here I am,
So the part about giving back is non-existence?
I was giving back in the form of donations. Disaster happened in Nepal, I would give some money towards it. But there was no personal connection towards what I was doing. Mm. And that's what I want to do as well. Because, we're here to serve, right, as human beings. Mm-hmm. It's all about giving back to me. That is what makes life meaningful.
Hence Reaction project.
Hence Reaction. How do I give back?
Mm-hmm. How do you empower the other social enterprises?
How do I empower the youth mm-hmm. that purpose-driven business can survive? It's not always about profit. It can be about solving the social problems yourself rather than waiting for the government to solve it. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, trying to establish myself as well as a social entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. So how can
So your CEO pulled you into the office. What happened?
So I'm very lucky because our current CEO is a very respectable female, Carrie Powell. She asked me what I was going to do, what interested me, and I talked about coaching, giving back, sustainable development. And so she said, well, there's a project that's coming up, or that's been that's on the radar, and she felt that it is something that I would, you know, find purposeful because it was very much in line with what I like, clean energy. So she said at the same time you can work part-time, so you work 2 days out of the week and the rest of the time you can pursue your other interests. And I thought that was a very profound moment that nothing like that ever happened. You know, in Brunei, flexible working is not a thing. The fact that she was able to offer me something that I felt was the best of both worlds, I said yes to.
Mm-hmm. But you're no longer employed under Brunei Shell? No,
so it's like a secondment to a 100% Shell entity. Yeah, not a joint venture.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. It is interesting. And again, I'm learning, right? From knowing oil and gas all my life to moving to something that's, it's renewables, it's solar energy. Yeah.
Let's pause for a little bit and reflect upon that decision. It's a huge decision to give up on security.
It's scary. I still ask myself now, was that still the right thing to do? Yes, I'm more balanced now. I have more time to meet people. But my bank account has taken a hit, basically. So I had to change my lifestyle significantly. But
no more impulse buying of Gucci bags.
Well, I have a classic example. I was at Best Eastern and I wanted to buy The Economist. I picked it up and I saw that it was $14. I put it back down. I thought, $14, that's fuel money. I thought, it's fuel money. So I was like, okay, if there was anything here that I wanted to know, I can always Google it. I don't need this magazine. But, whereas before, I would grab 2 to 3 magazines.
Yeah, without a
read it halfway. And then buy the next release. So it's really mindless purchasing.
Right.
So I'm a lot more mindful in my ways now. I have to. But don't get me wrong, I do miss the days when I can sort of go to a restaurant, any restaurant, and order whatever I like.
And fly through to Singapore for a weekend.
For a weekend, and just shop till I drop. But that's all very materialistic and very superficial.
Are you happier?
A lot of people who meet me now say, wow, you're glowing.
Different person?
Different person.
Less stress?
Definitely less stress.
Less frowning? I'm
open to experiences. When I meet people, I'm open to the possibilities of where this friendship might take us to. I just have this desire to experience the world, right? And I feel like I have the chance now.
And you get to see your baby.
Yes, I get to, and my son, I think he really loves the idea of me packing his lunch and taking him to school and being at home when he comes home. Because this is the precious age, right? If I want to instill resilience and emotional intelligence in my son, I gotta do it now.
Wow.
Yeah, because these are the foundation years. So if I don't do it now, I'll lose it.
You mentioned to me about a board game that you bought for your son.
Yeah, it's Mindfulness for Kids. We were in Bali on a trip back from Bali, and I saw this flashcards. And I'm very big on mindfulness now. Not very great at it because I've got old habits die hard, basically. But I figured out when I saw this flashcards that if I want Jamie to be a more compassionate human being, then this is the best time to instill mindfulness in kids. It's amazing. They have different cards that you can do at different times of the day, and it gives you practical tips on how you can manage stress.
For example?
The one that I like, which I shared with you before, was about worries. So if you're a child and you're worried about something, then you basically close your eyes and take 3 breaths, and then you imagine holding a bubble wand in front of your mouth. And as you exhale, you imagine the bubble forming, but it now contains your worry. So as you blow out, your worry goes into the bubble, and you visualize the bubble moving away from you. So your worry is essentially moving away from you, and you see the bubble burst. And that's how you sort of have a more practical approach at just letting that worry go.
And that's applicable for kids as well as adults, isn't it?
Yeah, as well as adults. And when I did it with my nieces, my niece came back to me a few days ago and said, Auntie Shirley, I tried it. It was really fun.
Jeez, you should buy and distribute it here.
Yeah.
Be a distributor.
Yeah, I really want to be a mindfulness practitioner for children. I feel like we're so glued to technology now, and we're always buzzed from information, that I worry that the kids later on will not have the ability to sort of pause. And I find that kids now, they get restless. They can't be bored anymore. Whereas before, we had days when we had nothing to do, but still we found something to do, right?
It helps with imagination.
It does. And so I think that it's only 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes of your day, sit in a circle with the kids, and together you practice mindfulness. I think that's beautiful.
Can they sit still though?
2 minutes,
That's
I think.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, in a big group, if you get half of them to sort of buy into it, that's a win already, right? I just want people to be compassionate and to be the best versions of themselves without having to step on toes. You know what I mean? And just to be more self-aware of who they are and what they can do, how much power we all hold, and just all around be better human beings. That's what I want. I don't know how I can do that. I'm not the Dalai Lama, so I don't really have that outreach. But in my own network, if I can bring in the element of self-awareness, just doing more, giving back, taking risks, and just trust the process.